Hey, for Chapter 6 you get a third video. We're just going to talk about some unique details here that we're starting to get into. So when we're taking a look at the general journal, one thing I want to point out is it does have pages. So whether you're doing this with pencil and paper, in a notebook, and you would have pages that you would turn, same thing applies to a computer journal. It will also have pages, so it might have like 30 entries per page, so you can then narrow things down when you're trying to find specific things that you reference back to. So what you want to do is make sure you're putting the right page number up here, because that will matter later when we put things in the ledger. But for now, understand that there are pages of journals, and in fact they can be quite long, and so you might get multiple pages. Now the book is trying to train you on how to just do these individual entries, and so they're not going to give you like 70 entries so that you get multiple pages. But what we're trying to do is get you to understand that there are page numbers, they are important, and you do need to label them, and you do need to pay attention to them. Alright, another thing we need to pay attention to is fixing mistakes. It happens all the time. Everyone makes mistakes. The problem is in accounting, when your accountant makes mistakes and they just start erasing things, it makes it look pretty fishy. So as soon as you see a bunch of pencil marks where something is completely scratched out and covered up, or you see a bunch of eraser marks and new things are written in, it looks like someone's fixing or cooking the books, is what they call it in accounting, and things are being stolen, embezzled, changed for illegal purposes. So what we do in accounting is, if ever you make a mistake, you leave the mistake, and in the journal you're going to cross out any mistake you make, and you're going to pencil in the correct number or figure. Alright? So in this case, if we had cash in bank, and this capitals for Maria Sanchez, and that's the original entry for 10,000, if you remember that on the last video, it should have been 25,000, but she's already written this in. Well, what she can do is cross it out with a line so that we can see what the number was. We can see it's 10,000. We don't want to scribble over the whole thing so that it just totally, disappears. But we want to, just draw a line through it and then write the correct entry above it. Now, if you're a single person, or a sole proprietorship, which is just one person owning a business, doing it this way is fine. If you're in a larger organization, or you have partners or something like that, what you're going to do is you're going to make this correction, and then you're going to initial it when you've done that. So if you're in a larger organization, you want to initial it, and that way people can go back and be like, you made the correction? Yeah, okay. What happened there? And you explain, and they're like, oh, okay, that's fine. Because otherwise, if numbers start getting crossed out and people are like, well, who did that? What happened? What was that? No one can figure it out. That's a real mess, and that makes people very nervous when numbers are getting changed. All right? So if you're in a larger organization, or you're doing this at the bank, they will often ask you to initial it so that they know who they can refer to about that problem. All right? Second problem, if you make a mistake on what you're writing in, you don't erase it, you cross it out, but we can see it used to say rent expense, and instead we write in utilities above it. All right? So that's how we fix mistakes in the journal. There's going to be other things that are going to get more complex about fixing mistakes, but for now, we need to understand how we do this in the journal. We put a line through it, and then we write in the correct thing, and in some cases we may be asked to initial it. All right? So those are just some of the little details that we're taking a look at when we're dealing with the journal.